When Donald Trump reacted to the Expropriation Act, which provides for zero compensation, it threw a cat in the pigeon pen. The reaction in South Africa was really overwhelming from all the corners of the spectrum. Most of all, it causes a big divide between those who stand to lose most, especially landowners, and those politicians, organizations, business structures who said this is not so bad. You are overreacting. Actually, this act holds no threat for property owners. Now, of course, here in Saai, our members are part of the first group. They are the very first who are running the risk of being expropriated at less than market-related values. And hence, our stance on it. We see nothing meaningful, nothing that can add value, nothing that will lure investments, nothing that will bring certainty in the agricultural sector in this act. So before farmers buy into this narrative that there's nothing to worry about under this new act, we want to challenge those who hold this position to answer a few questions in very simple language so that all the farmers can also understand it. Firstly, what would stand in the way of a local corrupt municipal official to test the limits of this act, go over in an expropriation of a farm in his area and offer less than market-related value in the expropriation, a fraction of what it's worth? And if this matter would go to court, would it be adjudicated by the same judges who ruled that kill the farmer, kill the boer does not constitute hate speech, or who scorned certain councillors, advocates, because their clients did not appoint their black colleagues? Is it the same kind of judges who will give content to the discount clauses in this new Expropriation Act? And who will pay for these court cases? Where will the money come from to fight an unjust expropriation? What will be the risk of that municipal official? Will he have to pay anything? And if his effort fails, would there be any consequences for him? Explain to us the mathematics behind these discount clauses. What discounts can be taken? What is the percentage of discount for all these clauses which are allowed in Article 25.3 of the Constitution? So if the purpose of this expropriation is land claims, will 5% be deducted, or 15%, or 30%, or 50%, or 80%? And who will decide on that? On what basis? Why can't we just use market value? What is wrong with expropriation at market value? Why must an individual landowner pick up the bill for a national imperative such as land reform? And When he is expropriated at less than market value, must the landowner take that knock alone? What about the rest of the stakeholders in the financial value chain? You see, every farmer has a farm or maybe two to lose in this process, but the banks have all our farms to lose. We all offer our land as collateral security for inputs, for production financing. Why are the banks so quiet? Why does it sound as if the organizations representing agricultural businesses, and especially the banks and the other financial service providers, why does it sound as if they kind of welcome this act and very vocally say, it's not so bad, nothing to worry about? Will they also take part of the knock? Will they also write off part of the debts which farmers owe them? Why would a farmer even consider it to plant new fruit trees from which he will only harvest in 5 or 7 years from now, knowing that there is a very real risk that he will not be able to recover his expenses for this development if his number would come up to be expropriated? And what is the plan for the interim? Capital is as shy as a deer. When you scare it, it runs. So, what is the plan for rural development and growth to lure investments into primary production, into farming, to create new jobs, knowing that this kind of act will pull up the handbrake on farmers' own investments in their land? What is the plan to replace that, if there even is a plan? Where is the agricultural sector's inputs in the public consultation process on this act? Why don't we recognize anything which farmers contributed in this public participation debates? Or was it simply all ignored? Didn't it matter at all? And don't tell us this is not so serious. Government will not really expropriate without paying you anything. It will always be fair and equitable. You will not be expropriated at nil compensation. Just other words for without compensation. Why do you sign off an act like this if you don't plan to use it? Why disrupt investor confidence? Why shake the cage like this if you have no intention of actually doing it, of applying this new law? In which kind of democracy can you put all the pressure on the individual citizen of the state to carry the burden for a national responsibility? Shouldn't the fiscus pay for everything which is in national interest? Shouldn't society as a whole pick up that bill? Why pick on a specific individual? And how will he be picked? Will it be somebody who irritates a politician, who disagrees with certain policies? Who will decide which family will be stripped of their title deed to give effect to this act. If these questions seems too difficult to answer, even in the slightest, then you must ask yourself the question, why support it? In whose interest is it to support this new act? For us in Saai, we are unashamed, a voice for family farmers all over Southern Africa. That's why we are fighting for compensation in Zimbabwe. That's why we are fighting to reopen the doors of the SADC tribunal. And we firmly believe that this act will bring nothing good to agricultural investments or to the property market. And those who say it is not so bad, it will not happen, you don't need to fear. Where were you when Akkerland was expropriated in 2018? What contribution did you make towards the fight for justice? And we won that case with cost orders against the minister, the Land Claims Commissioner, and the Registrar of Deeds. The courts found that this was fundamentally unjust. It already happened before. Where were you? It's mighty easy to say this is not so bad when it's not your livelihood which is at stake. There will come a day, not far from now, when these questions will pop up once again, when the first farmer gets expropriated on the basis of this act. We don't know who he or she will be. We don't know whose number will come out of that hat first. But rest be assured, the farmers of South Africa will stand by you. We will fight your battle with you because we know all our necks are on the line. And if we don't establish proper principles based on international standards and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in the very first case, we might as well give up. So make sure that you are part of an organization which will stand up for you.